What is good, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Benefit podcast, bringing you everything you need to know about living your best life, and a bit more of a light-hearted one this week. I know the past couple of weeks have probably been a little bit more serious, maybe a little bit heavier, things that I think were important to discuss. But this one, we're going to get a little bit more light-hearted. So I recently went to one of our local supermarchés because I live in France and a supermarket is called a supermarché. I went into one and picked up a few little bits. I think I was actually getting a few little bits and pieces for Louis. Picked up Lara some gluten-free bread because she needed some more. And there's not that many places you can get that here. So there I was doing what I needed to do. Picked up a few bits after going for a nice walk in the sunshine. Got to the till and I noticed something. And it immediately brought back a little bit of childhood nostalgia. Sitting there, where you always find like the chewing gums and the mints and the little chocolate bars, sitting there next to the till, Hubba Bubba. Who remembers Hubba Bubba? It wasn't in the format that I remember it, I will just say that. So back when I remember having it, it was in like the rectangular packets. You got a pretty chunky old square of it as like one serving. And I think you might have got maybe like 5 squares in a pack. And it was like 50p or £1 or something for those 5 squares. Absolutely amazing stuff. Like there was a sour apple one that I think was my favorite. I've got memories of there being maybe like a sour cherry or sour raspberry and some sort of Coca-Cola one as well. But sour apple was definitely the best one. Like absolutely bright green, you know, it would like stop traffic sort of color, bright green, tasted phenomenal, fluorescent green color. And because you got a nice big chunk of it, you could actually blow a proper bubble. So again, like I chew a lot of chewing gum, and it's obviously like little things, and it's difficult to get any kind of like decent amount in your mouth to blow a bubble. Hubba Bubba was like, by the time you've been chewing it for about 10-15 minutes, you were getting jaw ache. There was so much of it, but it made a really, really good bubble. Anyway, this wasn't in the format I remember. It was in like a circular tub, and it was like a long, I guess like a long tongue, if you want, like a roll of Hubba Bubba. Yeah, which, as I say, just wasn't how I remembered it. And I think the only 2 flavors that they had were strawberry and raspberry, and they weren't sour, so they'd have been uber sweet. But Hubba Bubba just made me think of like, I remember back in our old local corner shop, and you know, these kind of corner shops also don't exist anymore, where you could literally pop in for like, you know, they had all the penny sweets lined up. You could grab your pint of milk, you could grab the morning newspaper, probably grab a loaf of bread and a couple of tins of beans. You know, those kind of corner shops that just had the little things you needed. But I'm sure most of them have probably closed down now. But anyway, like the penny sweets were the thing. You know, we're probably 8-10 years old, that kind of age. Mum and dad would send you off with like, you know, 20p, 30p, whatever it was back in the day, because I am going back over 30 years now. Send you off with your 20, 30p. You'd fill your little white paper bag with penny sweets. You'd hand your money over, and then, you know, you'd make the most of enjoying those sweets over the next couple of days before you got the next little bit of pocket money. And it always reminds me of like our local little corner shop had the most trusting old ladies behind the till, like to the point where you get your little white paper bag. You could put as much stuff in there. It could be almost overflowing with penny sweets. And this is back when penny sweets actually were 1p. I don't even think that happens anymore. But, you know, like your cola bottles, your gummy teddies, your like little white sugar mice type things, those massive giant strawberries, like all of those were a penny each. You'd absolutely fill your white paper bag up. And bless them, behind the till, you'd walk up with this bag, which has clearly got about 2 or 3 quid's worth of stuff in. And they'd just be like, how much is in there, love? And you just say, 20p's worth. Hand over your 20p, on your way. And it was just, it always used to make me laugh, because like, you know, we're looking back on it now. I mean, it's thieving, right? But, you know, it's thieving penny sweets. You don't think about it quite the same way. And after we'd been doing that for a little while, I think a few of us were then a bit like, how much can we get away with? You know, kids are kids, they're going to test boundaries. we started putting packs of Hubba Bubba in the bottom of the paper bag before we put the penny sweets on top. So you'd get like a pack or two of Hubba Bubba at the bottom, then you'd load up with your penny sweets, then you go up to the till and you get exactly the same question, like, how much is in there, love? 20p, 30p if you were feeling like a little bit more guilty about just how much you were trying to get away with. 30p, hand over your 30p and on your way. And you've walked out with like, 3, 4, 5 quid's worth of stuff because you've managed to squeeze in like a pack or two of Hubba Bubba. And it just a very, very nostalgic moment as I was, going into the supermarket, seeing that on there, and also enjoying some sunshine because they were the good old times. And it always used to make, like, it was always sunny. Like, I just remember the school holidays, the 6-week holidays, and this probably is looking back with rose tinted glasses, but it was like baking hot and sunny for the entire 6 weeks. We'd be in and out of the corner shop, stealing as many sweets as we could, paying for a little bit of them. It just, was a very, very nice little moment to think about. So I thought I would jump on and just share that with you. But if you remember Hubba Bubba, let me know. Let me know what your favourite flavour was. If you've got no idea what Hubba Bubba is, you're probably a little bit young. Ask your mum and dad. And also, if anyone's got any other nostalgic moments, like, things that used to be in the shops that you'd go and do as a kid that you just can't get hold of anymore, or they've completely changed. Like, I also remember, this is a complete tangent, but I remember when opal fruits were opal fruits. And some of you are probably thinking, what the fuck is an opal fruit? That is what became known as Starburst. I've got a funny feeling in my head that they might even have gone back to being called opal fruits, or they did for a period of time, but they were opal fruits. They changed their name to Starburst, and then they were back to being opal fruits. Chewits, they were another one. I like to chew it. Remember those adverts? And also the little blackjacks that turned your tongue completely black. They were also a penny, like amazing penny sweets. I used to love them. And the little blackjacks and the little refreshers. The refreshers would just burn your tongue off because all of the sherbet would just absolutely rip you to shreds. And the blackjacks would just turn your tongue black. Oh, amazing memories. I'm starting to reminisce about all of them times. If anyone's got any more, do let me know, because it's amazing having a little think back. And pretty mad to think that that's quite some time ago now. But I hope that all makes sense. I hope everyone's had a really, really good week. Actually, the day that this is going to go out, I have a feeling it's going to be my birthday tomorrow. It's going to be my 40th birthday, the day after this gets released. So if you'd like to wish me a happy birthday, it'd be very, very much appreciated. At Ben Howard Fitness on any of the socials. ben@benhowardfitness.com is the email address. Comment below, let me know, share, like, do all that good stuff. Subscribe wherever you can. Leave me a rating, leave me a review, and I'll be very, 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 very appreciative of that. It would make the best birthday present ever. So have a good one, and I'll be back very soon with another one.